Bonjour, everybody. My name is Belle. It's so lovely to be here with all of you today. I hope you're staying inside and staying healthy with your family. I thought we could all have a tea party today since we're all inside. Now, if you have your teacup with you, perfect. And if you don't, I brought my favorite teacup for you to use. It even has a little rose on it. I have my friend Mrs. Potts and Chip here with me too. And for this, I'm going to use Chip because he is my favorite teacup. So everybody lift up your teacup. Make sure it has tea inside, of course. Lift it up, hold on to the handle, stick your pinky out, and sip. It's delicious, isn't it? Now everybody try one more time. Lift up your teacup, grab the handle, lift your pinky. Delicious. Now there are lots of teas you can try. There's lavender tea, chamomile tea, Earl Grey tea. So many different types. Now, I thought we could also read a story. As you all know, reading stories is one of my favorite things to do. And my friend Princess Avonlea asked what my favorite book was. I'd have to say my favorite book is any that has a happy ending. Now, do any of you have favorite stories? Wonderful! Now, I know a story that has far-off places and daring sword fights, magic spells, and a prince in disguise. And it takes place in a place called Agrabah. Do any of you know where that is? That's right, it's with my friends Aladdin and Jasmine. That is a very good story too. Today I brought one of my favorite stories about the Beast and I, and it's about how we met and how we fell in love. Have you ever read this one before? Wonderful. Now, as with any story, it always starts with the magic words. Do you know the magic words? That's right, once upon a time. Once upon a time, on a cold, stormy night, an old woman begged at a prince's door. She offered the prince a rose, but he selfishly told her to go away. Suddenly, the beggar magically changed into a beautiful enchantress, much to the prince's surprise. Then, because of his selfishness, she cast a spell on him, turning the prince into a hideous beast. The spell would be broken and the prince would become human again, only if he could learn to love another and earn that person's love in return. But who could ever learn to love a beast? Now, I lived in a small village not too far from the Beast Castle. I loved books more than anything. While everyone in town admired the handsome hunter Gaston, I kept my nose buried in my favorite books. This bothered Gaston, for he wanted to marry me. After all, he explained, she's the best, and don't I deserve the best? I knew that I could never care for anyone that was as conceited and as selfish as Gaston. Do any of you know Gaston? He's positively primeval, isn't he? The villagers all thought that I was strange. And they thought that my father, Maurice, the inventor, was even stranger. Maurice was hard at work on his newest invention, a machine that chopped wood all by itself. "You're sure to win first place at the fair tomorrow, Papa," I said, seeing him off. "Goodbye, good luck." Poor Maurice never arrived at the fair, for he got lost along the way. Separated from his horse, Philippe, Maurice made his way to the Beast's enchanted castle. Have any of you ever been to an enchanted castle? Oh, it's so wonderful to explore. In the castle, a talking clock named Cogsworth had a candelabrum named Lumiere greeted Maurice. The same spell that had turned the prince into a beast had also turned his servants into objects. The beast soon discovered Maurice and he took him prisoner. Do you all know my friends Lumiere and Cogsworth? No, Cogsworth's a bit silly sometimes. When Philippe returned home alone, I knew that my father was in trouble. I asked the horse to lead me to my papa. He led me back to the beast's dark castle. "What is this place?" I asked, walking down the hallway. "Papa!" I called out. Maurice called out to me, and I found him locked away. Then I also met the angry beast. The beast roared when I asked him to free my father. "He's my prisoner," he yelled. Mustering up all my courage, I whispered, "If I take him place, will you let him go?" The beast agreed. "But you must promise to stay here forever," he told me. Terrified of him, I replied, "You have my word." Now that I would be staying in the castle, I decided to have a look around. Even though the beast had warned me to stay away, I wandered into the forbidden west wing. Then I found the enchanted rose that held the beast's fate. He had to learn to love another and earn that person's love in return before the last petal fell. If he didn't, he would remain a beast forever. Suddenly, the beast appeared behind me and screamed, "Get out!" He was afraid that I would touch the rose and cause the petal to fall before its time. I was so frightened that I took Philippe and ran from the castle, trying to get away as quickly as I could. But we were soon surrounded by hungry, terrifying wolves. Grabbing a stick, I tried to defend myself, but the wolves were too strong. Before I could scream, the beast appeared and fought off the wolves himself. He was hurt, but he had saved my life. Back inside the castle, I tended to the beast's wounds, realizing that he wasn't really so scary. Just had a very bad temper. In time, the beast and I became friends. We read together in the library, fed the birds together outside, and even danced together. One day, the beast asked me if I was happy. I told him that I would be, if only I could see my father. The beast showed me a magic mirror, and Maurice appeared, looking ill. "Papa is sick," I cried. "I must go to him." The beast loved me and thought only about my happiness. He released me, giving me the mirror to take home so I could look in it and see him anytime I liked. Meanwhile, back in the village, my papa had been trying to rally the villagers to rescue me from the beast. Everyone thought Maurice was crazy and they didn't believe him. But Gaston found a way to use my father to his advantage. He would have declared him crazy and locked up forever, or at least until I agreed to marry him. I hurried home to my papa, and to prove he wasn't crazy, I showed Gaston and the villagers the beast's face in the magic mirror. Gaston convinced everyone to follow him and destroy the hideous monster that lived close by. When Gaston and the villagers arrived at the castle, they were met with a surprise. All of the enchanted objects in the castle came together to defend their master and their home. Gaston decided to take on the beast himself. He and the beast fought. Gaston lost his footing and fell from the castle roof, but not before badly injuring the beast. By the time I could get to him, the beast lay dying. Deep within the west wing of the castle, the enchanted rose was about to lose its last remaining petal. "Please don't leave me," I said, sobbing over the beast's body. "I love you." Through my tears, I saw the beast magically transform. The spell was broken. The enchanted objects returned to their human form. The beast once again became the prince, but love had restored kindness to his heart. He was now handsome inside and out. The prince and I danced together, knowing that we would both live happily ever after. The end. Now, I thought I'd teach you all one last thing before we go today. So does anybody happen to know what country I'm from? That's right, I'm from France. And in France, we speak a different language besides English. Does anybody happen to know what language that is? That's right, we speak French. So I thought I'd teach you all how to say a few words in French. So does anybody know the song that we all sing in the beginning of my story? There's a word that everybody says to say hello. Does anybody know what it is? That's right, we say bonjour. So everybody repeat after me. Bonjour. Bonjour. That means hello in French. So say it with me. Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Wonderful job, everybody. And now I can teach you all one more thing. So does anybody know how to say my name is? If you're meeting somebody new, it's very important to say what your name is. You go up to somebody and you can curtsy and you can say, Je m'appelle. Can everybody say it with me? Je m'appelle. Je m'appelle. Wonderful job. That means my name is. So I could say, Je m'appelle Belle. And you all can say, Je m'appelle your name. Wonderful, everybody. And now one more thing. It's very important when you're leaving a place to say goodbye, right? Does anybody know how to say goodbye in French? That's right, you say au revoir. Au revoir. Try it with me. Au revoir. Wonderful job, everybody. Now you all know how to say so many things in French. And now there's one last thing that's very special. If you love somebody in your family, or you love your enchanted objects or a pet, you can say je t'aime. That means I love you. So can everybody say it with me? Je t'aime. Je t'aime. That means I love you. So, je t'aime, Chip. Je t'aime, Mrs. Potts. Je t'aime. Wonderful. Now you know how to say I love you. And now before we do go, I had to answer a few questions that my friend Princess Abigail sent. She wanted to know what my favorite color is and what my favorite food is. So as for my favorite color, I'd have to say my favorite color is red, even though I do love every color in the rainbow. And I love red because it reminds me of all the roses in our garden. And sometimes the Beast will even bring me roses to surprise me. It's so sweet of him. And as for my favorite food, well, I'd have to say my favorite food is anything from France, like creme brulee, croissants, crepes. But I do have to say my favorite is the gray stuff. It's delicious. Have any of you tried it? Well, you'll have to try it sometime. And now before we go, I wanted to say one last hello to my friends Princess Violet and Princess Sarah. I hope to meet you both sometime soon. I hope you all had fun with me today on our Storytime and Tea Party, and I hope to have adventures with you sometime soon. But for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and au revoir!